Well, good morning and welcome back to Ribbon Candy Hooking. What a beautiful day we are having here in New England. It's not actually, you've got it that this is the green screen and it's so far so good. But it's just like this. That's why I put this image up because it's one of these beautiful, super, super bright winter days, impossibly bright, like X-ray bright. And everything is frozen because of the snow, and all the branches they're like crystal because it's like 20 degrees here in Connecticut. I'm hoping that you all are having a good day, a beautiful winter weather day there. Sharon, happy coffee time in wintry Vancouver. It started snowing late last night, and now you have about 6 inches of snow, and it's still snowing, albeit not as heavy, petering out. Oh, that's a lot, but to be expected. Holy mackerel, right? It is January. I keep forgetting it's January. And I have to say, thank God for busyness because this is my worst time of year personally. And I'm sure everybody, right? Everybody, January, February. I have been so busy that it's okay. It like slides by. Everything goes by so quickly. I don't have time to be miserable. Isn't that nice? That is nice. One of the good byproducts of being crazy busy. Linda, great to see you. Good day in frozen Jersey. Congratulations. Oh, thank you so much. I got my Rug Hooking Magazine book, so this is what we're looking at today. I took some pictures out of here, some of the features that I really loved in here. Yeah, I was very happy with my feature. It was quite long. Well, I guess we'll get to that in a second. But they printed a lot of that chapter. So, and there are many chapters in the book. I feel like there's maybe 13 or 14 chapters, different artists in there. Speaking of which, Muka starts tonight. So if you are signed up for the Design Like Muka class, get in on the action. Muka is running tonight at 4 to 6 Eastern Standard Time, today, Wednesday, the 17th, and again on Sunday, I think 6 to 8 on Sunday, Eastern Standard Time. And man, I really struggled with putting that class together because Muka is so busy and fine and filigree, right? And I wanted to make it possible. I wanted to be sure that everybody who did it was going to be able to come away with products with patterns that you could actually use for your rugs that are beautiful and doable. And it's a little bit hard with Muka. So it took a while for me to figure out what kind of exercises would bring us there. The average person, not somebody who's an artist with a special printer and hundreds of hours of spare time, but just a regular person who loves that Art Nouveau style that Muka represents. So I got there in the end, but man, it took some time because I did not want to give exercises and do games in the class that were bound to be good for 1 out of 10 people. I wanted to be sure that what we had was going to work for everybody. So got there in the end, and I actually am using. I didn't say it online, but I'm toward the end of the presentation. I put in my favorite Art Nouveau artist, and that's Will Bradley. He's an American artist, and he was working at the same time as Muka and a little bit before. And signature Art Nouveau style, but a lot simpler. It's almost like Muka in a crucible, and the important parts are still there, doing like the heavy lifting with the storytelling, but all of that fine detail not there. So I thought that's like a good compromise for people who are like, I like it and I get it, but how am I going to hook it? Will Bradley. So we're going to be doing both of those people. There was a third artist I wanted to look at, and I'm not going to say the name because I might get to her eventually, but she's another Art Nouveau artist that I think would have worked really well. Muka has that big punch of a name, right? So it's designed like Muka, but we're really looking at designing in the arts and crafts style in a way that works for rug making, right? So looking forward to that later this afternoon. Linda H., happy coffee time. Great to see you in chilly Massachusetts. Karen, great to see you in Black Forest, Colorado. I will see you in person soon, too. Goretti, great to see you. Good morning from very chilly Ontario. Holy mackerel. Linda Ann just left a message and said how cold it's been in her part of Western Canada. Insanely cold. Like, I didn't even know that it could be in the negative numbers that deep and for people to survive, right? Like, that's incredible. Man, you Canadians are tough. I thought New Englanders were tough. You Canadians are tough. Speaking of tough Canadians, Crystal, great to see you. Good afternoon. Mild and gray in Nova Scotia. Oh, have they traded the weather? Holy molies. Oh, good to see you. Lisa, great to see you. Good morning in Chile, Pennsylvania. Kirsten, great to see you. Coffee time, cold in Vermont, but pretty. So pretty, isn't it? It's such a pretty day. I can't complain. You know, the kids had a 2-hour delay today because it snowed yesterday. They had a snow day. And then today, they had a 2-hour delay. And I was actually surprised because the roads are very sketchy. It's like a sheet of ice because it's like 20. And it rained last night, right? So in between it was warm, and now it's like freezing coating of ice on the ground. I thought there's going to be some serious wipeouts, but we all made it down the back stairs into the yard, across the yard, into the driveway, and Jocelyn fell under the car, not while it was on, but only because she was fooling around in the driveway. She had many warnings, right? But she's absolutely fine. That's what they do, I guess. But I thought, you know, I said to her quite loud in the driveway, you know, stop messing around because if no matter how much you're bleeding, I'm still dropping you off at school. And then I looked around to see if any of the neighbors were listening because it's not a normal thing to say. But the thing, you know, they know me. I know that. Of course, I didn't mean it, but I thought, ooh, baby, that's not a good one to be shouting out into the neighborhood. It's funny, but they kind of tasked me with taking off this morning to go to Dunkin' Donuts to get them like croissants and bagels and stuff like that. So I went and did that, and man, it was slippery out there. There were so many emergency vehicles on the road too, because you know the jerks who are like, I'm in a SUV, I'm in a truck, I got, you know, I got this. It doesn't matter that it's like really scary driving conditions. Oh, they're just honestly going around me. Like I'm not going slow, I'm going the speed limit, just going around, you know. People are going to do what they're going to do. It drives me crazy. I think it's worse here than in other places. That's why I complain about it, but I'm going to stop. Anita, great to see you. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. And Gayla, great to see you in Missouri. Happy Wednesday to you too. And Cindy, your piece is in the article, so it's in today's show as well. So beautiful. Sharon, great to see you. Yes, Crystal, come and get your weather. Oh, that's funny. Spins a good yarn. Oh, hello from northwestern Pennsylvania. Very chilly but bright. Isn't that the best? Great to see you. Super welcome. I will take the very chilly if it's beautiful, bright weather, right? It's so uplifting. There is something about this January weather that just sets you up for the year. It's like fresh canvas, right? Here comes the snow. Boom, dumps down. Beautiful, white, fresh, bright canvas. You know, it just, I don't know. I feel set up for the whole rest of the year. It gets more and more colorful as it goes on, you know, as we go through the summer and all those neon colors, and then we hit fall with all of those rich, darker colors, and then the total crazy festive colors of Christmas and New Year's, and then just the white again. There's something to be said for that. There's something in that. Yeah, it is a beautiful day. April, great to see you. It is cold. Good afternoon, Ruth. Great to see you. Tough UKer here too. Chilly, but not too. UKers are tough people too. I have to give it to you. You are hardy people, for sure, and lovely people. Linda B. Hi, Debbie. She says hi, Debbie, and Angela says good afternoon from Connecticut. Angela, I haven't had a chance yet to look at your stuff. All I found so far was the silver, but I know I have other colors too. Great to see everybody, and welcome. So, let's see. Yeah, let's dive into the magazine. It's a busy day because I have orders to do as well. I will remind you, as always, our new magazine, Magpie Times, is in the works. I am getting lots of articles and content from so many people. Thank you so much for that. I mean, there is some remarkably good. All of it so far has been good, but all different voices, right? It's like the Tower of Babel, but we are speaking the same language. We're talking about fiber arts and crafts. And I just love that. There are lots of different kinds of articles coming in, and it's really exciting. So many different, it's going to be a very varied magazine, and that's going to make me really, really happy. One of our buddies, I'll keep it as a surprise, but took a project yesterday, had said, oh, I'd like to work on a project for the magazine. Do you have a pattern? And I found one, and I gave her some choices, and she picked one for an article that I'll keep it as a surprise, but that is like a little sub-article, like a little side article, but I think a very, very good one, an important one to have in an issue on historic gardens. And so she took it, and she said, oh, you know, do you want me to rug hook it, or is it okay if I do like applique with embroidery? And I said, absolutely do applique with embroidery, because we have a lot of rug stuff in there. Not that I don't want more. I always want more rug stuff. But it's just nice that we have a lot of projects coming in that are different fiber arts. My main one, the Gertrude Jekyll is going to be quilted. So there's lots of different mediums coming in. I'm working on my crochet article for Magpie probably tomorrow, because I'm with you now, and then the Muka class is tonight, but hopefully tomorrow. So lots of good stuff coming in. Do you have something to contribute? Do you have a piece that you've done that is a garden or flowers, and you could send a nice little paragraph about it, something special that tells us why you chose that pattern, or maybe something that happened while you were hooking it, or maybe something about the person you gave it to, or where it hangs, or anything about you. We would love to have that in Magpie. So send me any of your content or ideas for content to ribboncandyhooking@gmail.com. I would love to have all of it. Now, I have been working on, starting to work on, I've been challenging myself to do a project that is like a month of roses, just one rose pattern for every day. And I've been kind of leading up to that because I don't want them to just be sketches. I want them to be finished patterns. And some of them will look like the Pearl McGowan era, Mrs. Harry David era of rug hooking, right? Like that is what I'm challenging myself to do, because that is not what I do and that's not what I enjoy. So I'm challenging myself to go there. But I am doing other patterns that each relate to a specific rose. So for example, I've already done 3 designs that I haven't shown yet. And I won't show them yet because it's not time yet, but one of them is the wild prickly rose. And if you're a garden person, you maybe recognize how pretty these roses are. The second one was the fragrant cloud rose. And then last night or yesterday afternoon, I did the Gemini rose. And I was able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, which it has to be the way that I work. Because of the Muka class, I promised people signing up for the Muka class that I would give you a free pattern to download and use, make whatever size, whatever way you want. And I had that outstanding in my head that I hadn't done the Muka pattern yet. And I thought, why not do a Muka pattern that is also a rose? And I thought, okay, it's probably going to be a mirror image, right? Because that's a big Muka device. And I ended up, I don't know if you've seen it yet, doing, hold on. Oh, sorry, wrong window. Hold on one second. There we go, doing this design. So this is a preview of, this is not available in the store at this moment. I'm getting ready for an all rose month, and I still have to decide what month it'll be. It'll probably be March. But this will be available in the future. This is available for free. The link has already been sent to the people who have signed up for the Muka class. But this is my version of a Muka. Very heavy patterning, right? But this is Gemini. And there are like 2 twins for Gemini who are both rug hooking. Can you see they have little hooks in their hands? They're both hooking a Gemini rose. So with a pattern like this, it is a busy pattern for sure. And it does have a William Morris quality because those 2 movements overlap each other, right? William Morris was sort of very old-fashioned at his time. I couldn't keep up the Art Nouveau. It had to be broken by a smaller print, like the flower print that is on their skirts. I'm thinking if I end up hooking this, first of all, it's got to be enormous. Oh, Catherine, good to see you. It's got to be enormous. Oh, Dave, good to see you. Frozen Toronto. I was thinking if I hook the skirts, I'm probably going to reverse or do like different background prints. Muka would do it all in layers of color. Yeah, so you could do this however you want, but I would say this has to be either a very large piece or I was going to say done in punch needle. You'd have to be mini punch. You'd have to be quite good to get definition, and I would suggest some outlining because these are busy. Oh, Ruth, good to see you. These are busy. Mukas are busy, right? This is less busy than some, but it is on the busy side for sure. I'm really happy with it though. I really like it. So if you are signed up for Muka, you got the pack of stuff to print, which is it's 20 pages. And only 10 are to print for exercises in class if you would like. A lot of people just listen and hook in class and then do exercises like another time. And then the other half is just more drawings and images that would be good inspiration things that I have found that are all copyright free, or I've drawn them myself. So they're good to go no matter what you choose. So you got an email with that, and then this came as a second email because I wasn't ready with this design when that came out. This will probably be the busiest one that I do for a while, and I haven't come up with a size for it yet, but I'm not selling it yet, so that is okay. Now, today, let's do it. Oh, Andrea, good to see you. You were busy finding ticks in my green rug, filling with finding ticks in my green rug. Oh, the heart is over your message. Example, filling in holidays. Oh, you were filling in holiday. Oh, you were looking for ticks. Yes. When you look between the loops, that that is addictive. That is addictive for somebody like me with a picking type personality. I love to pick at things and find things that shouldn't be there. I am big at looking for ticks in the loops to see if there are any holidays. And that is how I get to packing so often, because I find those little gaps and I think, more loops, more loops. So I was really happy that this came, because I thought maybe my membership, whatever subscription, had expired, because it took a while, and I'm right here in Connecticut, but I don't know where they're printing it. I assumed it was Pennsylvania, but I might be wrong. Beautiful issue. So let's do the formalities first. This issue is 88 pages. So these are not huge issues, but I have to say that the recent issues are more varied. This one of the recent ones, and it's not because there's an article about my book in here. This for me is the strongest issue in a while. I don't mean that I don't like the articles that have been in the previous issues. I just mean in terms of cohesiveness and inspiration, this has been the best one in a while. So I'm really excited to be in this one. I think it's a good one to be in. And I was very excited that Design Like an Artist is right on the top, featured that way. So that is my series of classes. And if you're new to me, jump on board and sign up for Muka. I think it's $45. Get in there, right? It's a great 2 hours of conversation, inspiration, brainstorming, and free patterns coming at you, right? So even if you're not a designer, it's a great way to spend time. And I have to say, I probably will, in the next few months, take a break from Design Like so I can catch up with the Design Like 2 book and Magpie, and do online classes that are in slightly different things, just for a couple of months to, because I'm treading water a little bit right now. So let's look at the content of this magazine. I showed it to my man Teddy this morning, and that was our thumbnail. And I'm pointing out to you here at the top, Design Like an Artist. I thought that was really prominent. I was really excited. I was really excited because, Mark, from the new editor of Rug Hooking Magazine, told me a while back that he was going to be using some of the content as content for the magazine. And I mean, it was one of the million emails in those 15 minutes. And I was just like, okay, great. And then I forgot about it. And it wasn't until you all started to email me and say, oh, your article looks great. And I thought, man, I didn't do an article, did I? Like, smoke another one, mama. No, I didn't do an article, and I don't smoke. But, and then I remembered, oh, it's Mark's. Yeah, I remembered. So that was exciting. It was like a gift. I mean, this is just a beautiful, I didn't put this image there, but this is just a beautiful table of contents, right? This is the first feature in it, broken to pieces or broken, I'll show you in a second. I can't place this one for the moment, but that is absolutely stunning. And this is from the article from the Design Like, right? So that's really beautiful too. That's Karen's purse. All of these, I mean, when you look at a table of contents like this, you know that it's going to be a good issue. It's really colorful. This is just the kind, as I'm putting a magazine together now myself, I'm looking at it and thinking, this is what you want, like in January. You want this in January. It's not like punching you in the face with swimsuits or anything like that. It's not like assaulting you with content that's like not appropriate for the time of year, but it is upbeat. It's colorful. It's kind of hip looking, right? It's uplifting, which is what you want at this time of the year. Oh, thanks, Catherine. Thank you. I haven't read the article, but I know they took it from my book and from my text, so hopefully it's all good. But yeah, and they reformatted it for the magazine. So they had the content, but it was in book content. And they reformatted it for the magazine. To be honest, I just flipped through, but I'm going to look at it with you all probably on the show if we get there. But in the meantime, go for broken, right? This is such a cute article. Go for broken. Vintage style reflects colorful stained glass. And this is a project with photography by both Karen Hansen West. And I really love this article because I see these. We have so many names for these, right? Broken glass, mosaic, and jigsaw are the three main names from three different rug hooking companies at the beginning, very beginning of the 20th century, who are putting this out as a pattern. But as Karen shows in this article, you don't have to have a pattern to do this, right? It would be a bit of a waste to buy a vintage pattern of broken glass because, number one, it's on burlap and it's probably very brittle and vulnerable. But this is something you can easily do yourself. You don't need to spend money on this, and you can put it on your backing of choice. So in the article, over on the left, you probably can't read it, but Karen says materials, assortment of wool scarves, jackets, skirts, or wool scraps, scissors, cutter. And cutter is even optional, right? You could just cut with your scissors or with a rotary cutter, or rip, right? Depending on how wide your strips are. A hook of some sort, so either a rug hook or I'm going to add, she says she uses a Hartman Irish hook. You have to use, that doesn't matter at all, right? It doesn't matter at all. I prefer if it didn't even say because it doesn't, the kind of hook doesn't dictate what the piece looks like. And you might use a crochet hook, right? And if you do, I hope it's a 3.5 or a 4, that kind of number, because those are the best ones to adapt to rug hooking. But whatever you have in your hand, even if it's a bent nail, if it's working, great. If it ain't Baroque, don't fix it. Permanent black marker, because you're going to draw as you go. Backing material, and she uses a hoop. I like that she says she uses a hoop because you need something to hold it, right? Unless you're putting it across your lap. And then God save the back of your neck, right? So she starts by saying, I'm going to join you here. She starts by saying, as a rug hooker who is curious about history and the history of rug hooking, I occasionally browse, I'm paraphrasing, browse rug hooking books or look on eBay or other online sites for vintage or antique hand-hooked rugs to give me ideas. It was on one of these sites that I first encountered the broken glass, as some call it, or the stained glass pattern. It's heirloom rugs from Providence, Rhode Island that call it, I think, mosaic. Or maybe they're jigsaw. No, I think they're mosaic. Doesn't matter. It's all the same pattern, isn't it? And she said, I had seen images of this design hooked in the 1920s and 30s in books. And then she names a few of the books compiled by, it doesn't matter, they're in a lot of books. I was drawn to many colors used in the design. I also love wool, shopping at thrift stores, and repurposing materials. Fortunately for me, these pursuits align well with rug hooking. So that was just like the first few sentences. It goes on, and it is really a lovely article. And as I flip to, let me show you, I'm only showing you bits and pieces because it is a good, Sharon, it does make a great project. It does make a great project. In fact, I'm not selling on purpose, but I at one point, and it might still be in the store, I had a beginner punch pattern that was jigsaw, and in the middle was the silhouette of like your state. So people were ordering and saying, I'm Massachusetts, whatever. And I drew that in the center as one of the jigsaws and then jigsawed around it and kitted it out with a punch needle and a bunch of colors. So it is a great punch needle project, and it's a great beginner punch needle project. I liked it with the states because I thought that makes a good shape, doesn't it? And then it also has meaning. I should revisit that idea because I think it'd be even better to have as like a little skinny mat on the table, right? Than like right now I think the pattern is round. Anyway, doesn't matter. So then she goes to, and I'll show you some of these, but a lot of detail about the how-to. So let's come back. Let's come back here. And she's showing you, she's using her hoop. That looks like a Morgan hoop. And she's drawing as she goes. Do you see? So this is not rocket surgery, right? This is something that you can do too. That's the point of this article. She's telling you how to do this. And it really is. Let me see if I have one more image from this article. Nope. It really is a lovely article. And, you know, she's finishing it and stuff. I mean, it really is just beautiful. And she put a little black border around. Really nice. And then she talks about finishing. Really fun, really fun. So there's that article, and then oh, how cute. I'm just looking at some other ads in here, which I'm not going to say because I'm done with advertising other people's brands. I've been doing that for years. And then this next article is really, really something special. Meditation through rug hooking. Prayer diamonds offer a valuable means of expression. Project by Heather Etches, photography by Rug Hooking Magazine. So she must have sent these in and they did the photography because I haven't heard that before. And the quote that we're seeing on the far left, may all live in equanimity without too much aversion. Buddhist prayer. Doesn't flow, does it? But the sentiment is fantastic. So this is a beautiful article where, again, Heather Etches writes, meditation as defined by the Collins Canadian Dictionary is, as a noun, thought, absorption in thought, religious contemplation. Regardless of whether one is spiritual or religious in nature, there is no doubt in my mind that we as rug hookers have meditated and prayed. Perhaps we have prayed more for more wool, more time, less frustration, and less interruptions during our creative endeavors. Perhaps we have prayed for our loved ones and thought of the project as a way of connecting ourselves or to who the finished project would be given to. Sorry, I screwed up the wording of that. But in any case, she's basically saying, sitting there making these small pieces like this, letting your thoughts, these kinds of pieces don't take concentration. They're very, very small, right? This is a really good idea. Wherever your mind takes you, whatever you're listening to, maybe a book on tape, maybe you're worried about someone, maybe you're passing the time, maybe you're making gifts. These are beautiful little tokens. And the article talks a lot more about it, lots more photography, and then there are meditations written on the back of them. So, I mean, gosh, isn't this just an absolutely beautiful, sweet, whimsical, manageable idea? I absolutely love this project. I absolutely love the idea. I thought it was so sweet, so quaint, perfect content for this magazine. Because in this magazine, we have things that are really good for beginners. I'm talking about Rug Hooking Magazine, and not so good for beginners. But this issue is really straddling for me. It's doing really. This is my favorite issue in a really long time. I know I sound like a broken record, but it's true, because the next article that's coming up is my favorite one that I've seen in rug hooking for a long time. And let me bring you there. It is from Umzi Collins, and anything that Umzi does is something that I love and am inspired by. So this article is called Persian Magic and My Mom. The challenge of completing a huge rug left undone. Project and photography by Umzi Collins. And this is how it starts. So what were you doing in 1988? Good grief, that was 35 years ago. As for me, I was a single working mother raising a son. My mother, Ruby Turnbull, was starting on Persian Magic, using a number 3 cut and several swatches dyed by her friend, Betty Maley, who has since passed. Sadly, Ruby died in 2000, along with her plans to finish the rug, and all her rug hooking supplies and equipment moved into my house. The, in quotes, blue rug, which is my nickname for Persian Magic, went into a tub under my baby grand piano, along with what was left of the wool. Fast forward to 2023, a lot of things happened between then and now, including me being able to finish the blue rug, at least as much as I was going to get finished. It was a huge challenge, to say the least. Let me give you some numbers, thanks to my husband and a calculator. So I just want, let me unlock this. Hold on. I want to unlock this and make this a little bit bigger for you to look at. I'm just going to read a little bit more, because this article just sort of hits every chord for me. And I'm thinking it might for you too. It's very sentimental. It's also a great technical feature for the magazine. The full pattern measures 70 by 96, which is 46.4 square feet, or give or take a few inches. The outside border is 9 inches wide all around. This is about 3 square feet of border. When I finally pulled the rug out from under my piano in 2021, I realized that there was a small amount that needed finishing. I thought, well, I can finish this, no problem. A year went by, and along the way we moved to another town, Packing up a house you lived in for more than 20 years is no mean feat. The blue rug went back into the box until I was settled. Then finally, it was on the frame and ready to go. Ruby left the leftover wool in a bag along with the rug. There were several swatches and enough background to finish the unfinished parts that were inside the main design. I knew that I would never be able to finish the borders. Plus, there weren't really enough swatches left over. When I moved, I gave away all my swatches to another rug hooker. I think everything I needed for the blue rug went to her. Oh no, really? Oh, there was no way I could finish this rug in its entirety. I don't have 20 more years or 2 new shoulders. So I challenged myself to only finish the inside and leave the 9-inch border. Ruby's color choices were brilliant. The center of the rug looks almost iridescent. She used swatches B12, so I'm going to leave that part because it's not going to mean much to read it out loud. These must be Cushings, right? The background actually has several shades of blue. I don't know if Ruby got lost in the blues or if she could not dye the exact shade or what the issue was, but this only makes the rug more personal and endearing. I think, too, that she could have been having eye problems. Yeah. Let me go to our next slide. I'm not showing you all of this article, but here you can see on the top she says a sewed on section, and down at the bottom she wrote the roadmap that proved helpful. So she says the pattern was so large that McGowan had to add on to it to complete the drawing. Yeah, that's the sewn on part, I guess. There is a sewed section where the extra burlap was added. To hook through this double backing, sometimes a punch tool was needed. Oh man. And I'm just going to give, and Amzi knows better than me, right? She's a pro. I'm me, right? I do things not technically and not as well by any means. But I will say, I do know that when you are hooking through multiple layers, it is better to have a fine hook. So while I hardly ever touch my actually fine hook because it looks like it was made for lace making, I would pick it up if I had to hook through 2 layers, or was like as Judy Taylor often does and says, she uses a fine hook when she's doing repairs because you're in between other loops, right? You don't want to be in there with your big coarse hook or your primitive hook. So using a fine hook is better for that. But man, this is a project and a half. Andrea says, wow, you could hook the background quickly, but the rest, ooh, I know. The pattern was marked original and has a trademark number. Seems Pearl McGowan was adamant that no one was going to duplicate her designs. Also included, which is funny because she got a lot of inspiration from all of the designers who came before her, but I'm going to leave that alone. Also included in the bag were hand drawings of sections of the pattern. The old name for this type of drawing was a roadmap. A rug hooker would trace sections of the pattern and make notes on them about what colors to use, the direction of the lines, so in other words, the directional hooking and so on. One section of the roadmap for this rug showed a scroll. Ruby had asked her teacher which was the scroll and which was the background. I found that very strange because I could very easily tell the difference. But I showed my husband and he said he could understand the confusion. The teacher sent the drawing back after coloring in the real scroll and not the background. This solved the problem. This is why I think Ruby might have been having eye issues. That's really interesting. You know, I just love this article. This is so personal. The drawings also indicated what colors, wait a minute. Also, wait a minute, I thought I had a swatch. There we go. Which color swatches were to be used and where. This is all part of the color planning. So much of the pattern was left to be unfinished. This is the part that I worked on. I really thought it wasn't very much, that it would be a simple task. Both corners were done, so all I had to do was fill in the background, and then the flowers and scrolls in between the corners. I realized early on that the last rows of the inside design did not meet up with the other parts. Oh, that is a good punchline, isn't it? One row was higher or lower than the other. I just went on with filling in and decided not to worry about how even the row was. I dare anyone to complain. While working on the background, I noticed the discrepancy in the blues in the background. Again, there was nothing I could do. I only had the wool background that was left, and it seemed to be the correct shade. I used that and left the other shade. There were other sections that Ruby had hooked in straight rows. Oh my God, she says, OMG, that was a no-no in an Oriental. What was she thinking? Again, I just left it. That was Ruby's part, not mine. So she goes on. I'm not going to read the whole article. It really is a beautiful article. And she gives so many illustrations of where she had to fill to complete this thing. And you see, like, it really fits in with the Go Broken, with the one we just looked at with all the broken mosaic puzzle pieces. Right on the bottom left, you can see there are some drawn in there. And on this page, I wonder if did I show one more page? Hold on. Yeah, so you can see with the scroll too. Oh, I see. Now that I'm looking at the scroll, not the red lines that were added, but I could see how if the scroll was very ornate. I mean, I have glasses, so I do have eye problems, but um, I can still see fine when I have my glasses on. But with very ornate scrolls, particularly with like the little sort of claw tips to them, sometimes it is really hard to tell where it ends off. Especially this one isn't, but especially if it's touching another motif, sometimes it's really hard, or crossing a motif. It can be really complicated. And okay, I see the punch tool. So do you see on the right, she didn't mean punch like a punch needle, she meant a punch tool. I could see how that would be handy, right? Because you need to get in between these tiny, tiny loops. But Amzi talks all about finishing this up, and it's a large article, and it's a beautiful article. The last page brings us to the end. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful, but I will leave that for you. I know a lot of you already have this magazine. If you don't, I hope that you will subscribe to it. Absolutely beautiful. Amzi Cullen has been hooking rugs since 1983 after learning from her mother. She's a McGowan certified instructor who teaches in her home and repairs old hand-hooked rugs. She believes that rug hookers should learn all they can from the older generation and then pass it along to the younger generation. Amzi lives in Manny, Louisiana. Sorry, just picking things off my sweater. What's on my sweater? How did this all get here? I must have been holding an animal before I left. That was absolutely beautiful. That's a gorgeous article. I'm so glad that that's in there. That really is like the heart of this issue in my mind. Now, the next article is beautiful. It's a travel feature, and I already knew about this trip because one of the buddies who went on it is Cindy Hugo, and she's a friend of mine, and I got to talk to her briefly about this when I was in Delaware fooling around with that group. So this feature is called the Ultimate Textile Tour. Fabulous fiber art, new friends across the UK. And the story is by Norma Press, photography by Catherine Hitchcock. So 24 American and Canadian rug hookers took the Ultimate Textile Tour of southern Scotland and northern England in May. It was very much a busman's holiday, the old British term for a vacation spent in doing what we do at home. Now, this will be a trivia question for the episode. Who wrote the mystery called Busman's Holiday? Without Googling, do you know? It's one of the greats of all time. Now, I was so jealous when I heard about this because, and let me unlock this and show it to you a little bit bigger. I so wish I had gone. I so wish I had known. Hold on one second. Wait a minute. Are we in the wrong? Yeah, we're in the wrong image. Of course we are. All right, let's see. Hang on. There we go. Oh, I love the rugs they're working on. That's a Van Gogh, isn't it? I'm seeing it very small, but I think that is a Van Gogh. So pretty. So beautiful. It looks like it was absolutely beautiful there. Except that on this holiday, we experienced not only rug hooking, but many other textile arts taught to us by some of the United Kingdom's most outstanding fiber artists. Some self-taught and others who earned advanced degrees in fine arts. We hooked, yes, and prodded, quilled, punched, stitched, needle felted, wet felted, and embroidered as we made our way across the British countryside. The trip was independently planned by Yvonne Itten Scott of Erin, Ontario, Canada, who knew most of the teachers throughout the International Guild of Hand Hooking Rug Makers, TIGHR. Leslie Knight led the tour in daily communication with Yvonne. Our first textile stop was Edinburgh, where we were guided through a special exhibition of textiles by artist, oh my God, Kaffe Fassett. Who, Andrea, me neither. This is like, Kaffe Fassett to me is like, well, like Paul McCartney. I mean, Paul McCartney, you can't beat Paul McCartney, but he's iconic, crazy icon. I mean, yeah, he's crazy, crazy, top of my list of people to meet. I saw him once in Amsterdam, and I must have looked like a psycho. Just looking at his face when he saw my face, it must have been like psycho alert, like red button going off. Whose colorful fabrics were used to create quilts, clothing, wall art, and home decor. The exhibit was in the Dovecot Tapestry Studio. Oh, wow. A renowned hub for handwoven tapestry and gun-tufted rugs. Interesting. Where we watch artists and at work on looms twice their heights. Wow. About 25 miles north of Edinburgh is the charming village of Saline, where we had an all-day quilling shop making quillies with Jill Kerwin. That's another really famous name. She specializes in quilly rugs, making sometimes called standing wool. Many of these are familiar in paper quilling. I'm just paraphrasing as I go. Let me show you another image. Man, this trip looks like an absolute dream. Thinking that might be Moy McKay in front. It doesn't have, Barbara, I'm sure you're right, it doesn't have any breakdown of names. You might see people you recognize in this photo too. There's a bunch of photos. And it tells about from where they're up in the Lake District at Yew Tree Farm. Gosh, they're showing lots. It's a beautiful, beautiful feature. It's showing lots of places. That's some of the quilly. And that's one of the looms, right, that was just mentioned. This is just absolutely beautiful. Panels of the Great Tapestry of Scotland. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, this is just incredible. I have to show this picture because I don't think I put it in it. There's Kaffe. Excellent. Amazing. Amazing. Oh, I'm so jealous. I think I put one more photo in here, though. Let's see. Yeah, I liked this photo. Teacher Sue Dove holding a self-portrait mat. What a fun class. Gosh, there was so much stuff happening over there. Okay. The one I was looking at the table of contents was by the late Heather Ritchie. It was a close-up of Reeth, right? Reeth, the town that she is known for, right? Her town. And in her book, right, Heather Ritchie, Ritchie, beautiful hardcover book. I know we've looked at it on, I think, Cocktail Time. Can't beat it. It's so good. I hope that you have ordered that. I hope that you own that. And then there's a feature on, I'm moving right along, iconic needle felter. Oh, interesting, Barbara. Probably. Let me just see. Now I'm curious. Well, I'll check later. Well, should I? There's so much to read. We better keep going. This really is a great article. There's an article on sharing your passion, the planning, challenges, and rewards of publicly displaying rugs by Lucy Walsh. So, really practical article, right, about putting up displays. And if some of you are thinking of, putting displays up locally, you should. And that article will help you a lot with how to display. We have kind of a funny, if you're a rug maker, it is a bit tricky, isn't it? I like these ideas for displaying, so you're seeing the rug kind of in context, too. Really nice. And, okay, and then there's my feature in here. I was going to say I didn't write it. I guess I wrote it. But it really is pretty. They did a really nice job with it, I have to say. And, it was just so funny. The first book I wrote was published by Fox Chapel, and, of course, the second one by Rug Cooking Magazine's Ampry Press. And it's just funny to see how different styles for both books. Different layouts, just different. Not better or worse, just different. And for me, that was really interesting because I'm a very like to work together person. So it's like my feeling has always been, I mean, I worked in theater, right? It's not, you're like, it's not a one person show when you're in theater. You work with a bunch of other people. And then I was a tour guide for like the next part of my life. And again, you have got to work well with others. You have got to. So I still have that in me, that when I'm working on a project, like a book project, magazine project, whatever, I really like to work with other people. That's why I'm constantly giving shout outs for your content too, because I work best that way. And I kind of have it in my head that I did my part, right? I wrote it. I got all the photos. They're in the right places. They're all numbered. They all are captioned correctly. Here you go, right? And then I'll look at it, and that was the proofing process. Was like human error, right? Is always a thing, and just checking. Oh no, that's the wrong caption for that, because that I would know just at first glance, right? So I feel like when I write it and hand it off, I'm done. So at that point, when they come back to me and show me pages that they have done, whether like it's layout pages in a magazine or in the final book, I'm really surprised and excited, because it's like that layer is someone else's vision and someone else's sort of artistic taste, that they have layered onto my work, and then it becomes a collaboration. And that's the word I was looking for. I love to collaborate. So it was really fun for me to but I actually first looked at my book ready to go, sent it back to them, and it started printing on Friday. And then it was only yesterday, I think, that I got the magazine, and to see the way that they laid out the magazine, it's different than the book. But again, it was interesting to me, because it's like, oh, yeah, 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 no, that works. There was not any sort of disappointment in seeing this. I was really blown away with how good this feature looks. It's a really long feature, too. So the chapter that Mark picked was designed like Henri Matisse. Oh no, I just realized that it says Henry instead of Henri. Okay, I didn't proof the magazine article, I have to say, but I hope it says Henri in the book, because we cannot sort of anglicize someone's name that is French. Um, oh, all right. It's spelled right in the body of it. I think yeah, it's just the title line that it's misspelled. Okay, that's annoying. Whew, let it go, let it go. Okay, do a stretch. Okay, I don't have time to do push ups right now, but we're going to let it go. So, yeah, Henri Matisse, not Henry. But it is beautiful. It looks beautiful. I'm stopping. Let's move on. It looks beautiful. You can see there are lots of different people who have contributed. I reached out. Shannon Carter was helping a ton at this point with content for the book, and she was helping with identifying other artists who were out there, either in our Facebook group or not on Facebook at all in some cases, and finding artists for every chapter whose work really indicated and was suggestive of the artist who we were talking about. So we are seeing some pieces that we haven't seen before, I think, and that really is the fun. And then we are seeing work from our favorite and best people, like Kirsten. So some of Kirsten's cats, reappearing motif I wrote in here in Matisse's work is certainly cats, but these are cats that Kirsten made, and this is really what Kirsten is known for. And Kirsten's designs are available on Ribbon Candy Hooking as patterns and kits. But really, really well done. Beautiful, beautiful page, Kirsten, too. I was really excited to see that. And there is more. This isn't the entire chapter. The chapter is longer. But I think this looks really good. And over on the right, an actual piece by Matisse. And then down at the bottom, the Rossignol, which is the nightingale in French, the operetta, which I was basing the design on. Me cutting it up. The design of the Rossignol is the bird costume, right? Because the design is based on Henri Matisse did in the 1930s a stage piece with Diaghilev, and it was called the Rossignol, and it's is it Hans Christian Andersen? Is it Hans Christian Andersen, the Nightingale? It is, isn't it? An operatic version of that literary work, right? So it was translated by Diaghilev, and Matisse did the staging for it in the costumes. And it really was kind of a funny moment in time. Cindy hooked this for us. I think you're on right now, Cindy. But it was a really funny moment in time, because it was the first time that Matisse did costume. So it was a big deal. And he did the set design. It was super, super, super futuristic and modern for its time, as one would expect, right? With these people being behind it. So it's interesting because that was in the 30s, and it was decades later that Matisse started to have a lot of health problems and was not able to paint anymore. And he entered the second sort of half of his artistic life, the second art movement that he kind of started. I mean, there were people who did collage before, but really it's Matisse that we think of when we think of like paper collage. He had to because he really couldn't paint anymore, and then he just started painting onto board and paper and cutting it out. So it wasn't like he was cutting out colored paper. He was coloring the paper however he wanted it and cutting out pieces and making compositions that were collage. And it's funny because the reason he got that idea once he was bedridden and really couldn't paint was because he had done this show decades before, The Nightingale, and he had worked in this style of collage. So this is, I think I have it for you here too. But he remembered that he had worked in this style before that was very shape driven and lacked detail. That's not it yet, but that is a costume. That is the original, one of the original costumes in The Nightingale. And the original costume is white and black, and Cindy made it in purples, which I think is perfect. It's just more exciting because the reference to the opera is not necessary. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe I didn't. Did I seriously not put the main photo? Nope, there it is. Yeah, it's meant to be colorful, and there's other shapes in there. Cindy, you did such a good job with this piece. This is punched. It was absolutely beautiful. I love the color. I love the color changing. It's super artistic. It is in the style of Matisse in his collage period, but it is also a tribute to this theater piece that he worked on as a much younger man. So I thought it was meaningful to do something that was a hat tip to a different part of his career. You're welcome, Cindy. It really is beautiful. It's great that it's in Rug Cooking Magazine as well. One of the many really beautiful designs in the book. You know, I'm going to have to make, how did I forget something so important? It's because of the Magpie. I'm going to have to make all the patterns in the book available on Ribbon Candy Hooking. I know some of them are. I'm not sure all of them are. So as you're seeing the patterns, and if you like the patterns that you're seeing when the book comes out, which is going to be very, very soon, yeah, look on Ribbon Candy Hooking because they're there for you to hook too. They've been a secret until now. I was waiting for the book to come out to really advertise it, but some of them are there because I have been doing talks, right, talking about the Design Light classes and showing some of the original rugs. So more on that later because I'm still looking to place the rugs into a show this year. More on that later. But this is a beautiful article, I think. And Melissa, I love your piece. Oh, I did leave. I'm going to show you one more piece. This is Melissa Gautier's piece, fun version of the goldfish with the kitty guarding the bowl. And I always love it when you put stuff in these super Paris apartment type frames. Absolutely love it. By the way, that Matisse costume is at the V&A Museum, the Victoria and Albert in London. So that's something that you can see there. And I left out this page, which is beautiful. Karen Smith, and Karen, I'm going to have to send you an email. The piece that we saw, the purse, right, the design for the purse that is in the table of contents. This is another original Matisse textile, right? This is a textile design that he did for Woman with Lute. Oh, who was that for? It was for one of the, it wasn't Liberty, it was one of the textile companies at that time. It's in the book. It's in the book. It's just not in the magazine. And Karen, who did this fabulous project with the purse design, is contributing an article to the first issue of the Magpie Times. So that's exciting too. You will see more of Karen's work. Karen has been making these amazingly beautiful sort of Ottoman footstools with metalwork supporting them, like as the foot part. Absolutely beautiful. Wait till you see. That will be coming up in Magpie Times. Let's see if we can get a couple more, see how much we can squeak. Let's see, because there's not a ton more content. Another beautiful article, the Pretty Plaid Proddy Pull Pillow. Holy alliteration times. The Pretty Plaid Proddy Pull Pillow. Make your fabric work for you. I love this feature. I love this feature. Do you see that gorgeous piece of plaid in the center? beautiful, big, fluffy, substantial Proddy border. Perfect, perfect. Proddy fringe, that's us. Absolutely beautiful. And there's quite a few pages of this. I'm sorry, this one's a little out of focus, but there's more than this, pages of examples of Proddy pillows. And this article takes you right. I'm sorry, this article is by, I'm so sorry, most important thing, story and project by Nola Heidbrider. I always say that wrong. I'm sorry, but we know she's an iconic name in rug making. Absolutely beautiful photography by Impact Exposures. Absolutely beautiful. It all starts with wool, doesn't it? You see it and you want it. The color calls to you. The touch of it is titillating. I was careful with that one. The price is right. You're here. It's here. Why not go home together? That is funny. That is funny. I like that setup. It sounds like something else, doesn't it? But this article is quite a few pages of pillows, and it's just an absolutely beautiful article. And even more, I mean, it's really beautiful. I kind of have to it's just showing you the wool that is making absolutely beautiful, and then real specific things about how to do it. So great article, great classy article. Something oh man, this last pillow. Review your finished pillow. Oh, she's giving you like a checklist of things to consider before you. Absolutely beautiful article. And then an article from May of 2013, Timely Tips for Beginners, Banish Those Bad Habits, Text and Photography by Patty Gofale. Really. So this is one of these throwbacks. Very nice. Very, very nice. And then Reader's Gallery, Pursuing a Vision, a small rug with great personal significance. Project and Photography by Debbie McIntosh. Beautiful. And then last main article in the feature. Top right are the same. Top right are the same. Oh, let me see. Here, let me see. I wonder what page we were on. Gosh, I hope not. Top right. Oh, they are the same. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. They're definitely the same. Oops. Moving on. These things happen, right? That's funny. That's not funny. That's unfortunate. But good catch. You see, it does matter. This stuff is noticeable. That's why I try to proof my stuff with a fine tooth comb. And I have to say, for Magpie Times, it's Judy. She's. I mean, she is so good. She's done so many book projects, and she's done so much publishing. She is the technical person on this project, and I'm the magpie who's gathering everything and contributing a lot of articles. She's doing articles too, but she's the technical person here. So with stuff like that, and I will proof everything as well. Anything that you're sending us for content, we will proof, and I'll check with you if there's any things that really stand out. But I'm not going to correct language, and I'm not going to correct that kind of stuff, because with so many different voices contributing, it's important that all of the voices are distinct and unique. So we would never be changing any content that changes grammar or anything like that. We would only say, like, with actual mistakes, like, do you want this changed? But we're not going to take the liberty of changing your voice for anything like that. So that's never a thing. Last article that I think is really pretty is, trust me to spot them. No, you're good, Andrea. I'm going to give you some stuff to proof. You're good. That was fast. So last big one, Punch It Up, Punch, Counterpunch. 2 takes on a 1-color palette. And this is Text and Photography by Amy Oxford and Cody Gallagher. Really, really pretty article. Oval Abstract Ribbon is the one on the left, and Oval Lake View, the one on the right. Greetings, fellow hookers and punchers. This issue's creative project revolves around color, specifically working with a limited color palette and making do with what you've got in your stash. Like most fiber artists, we always have a small stash of unused yarns from other projects, and many of us also like to knit or crochet and have an abundance of thinner worsted weight yarns within that stash. So she goes on to talk in this article about punching pieces with the yarn that you already have. It is a beautiful long article, feature article, about punch needle, right, as one would expect. This is the punch section, and Absolutely beautiful photography. Absolutely beautiful color palette too. Whoa. So this will be a lot of fun. Um, Counterpunch is is keeping the reverse side of the punch, right? Of the punch project. So that's a beautiful large article to close on. Oh, there's one more article after it, the Canadian connection. And I haven't got photos from this, but celebrating past, present, and future, close collaboration creates hooked work of art, story by Margaret Patricia Eaton. Oh, how nice is that? Okay. Doris Eaton, right? It was Doris Eaton. That is, I wonder if this is uh, Doris's daughter or something, family member. I haven't read the article yet. I'm not going to skim it now because it's getting late. But that is the last big article. And then there's some smaller ones. Well, there's one at the back by Wanda Kerr, The Artist's Date. Take the time to recharge your creativity. So that's another beautiful one, looking at nature for inspiration. That's another beautiful article. And then some tips at the end and ads. So, yeah, and that brings us right to the back. I was trying to get that in. Not that I'm trying to rush, but we have so much content and there's so much going on. I am still looking for one last shout out. And I think Juliet might be doing it for this issue. I'll have to check with her the travel feature. Let me check with her before I shout out again because I think she was doing the Chesapeake Bay area as a travel feature for. Sorry, I'm a hot mess today. For the Magpie Times because we want a nice travel feature in there too that's specific to um, textile people. So I will see you on Friday for cocktail night. Um, Gosh, it's already Wednesday and I haven't given the shout out for you know what gallery night. So we still have a ton of Sadie's mom's journal to look at. Let me think on it. I'm going to think on it. Let me think on it and come back to you with what our show will be on Friday night. But I should have a show for you on Friday night. I don't think I have anything going on. I don't think. So in the meantime, if you have any content for me, any questions, anything to bounce off of me, please write me at ribboncandyhooking@gmail.com. If you have stuff for Judy Taylor, littlehouserugs@hotmail.com. If you have technical questions or you just rather go through her or CC both of us, we collab about everything every day and where we are and who's putting what in. And if you're thinking, oh, I'm just coming to the party late, I wonder if there's room for something from me. There is room for something from you. We have tons of content. We'll just have more great content. We want to print what we get. And if we don't use content right now, and if it's better in the Midsummer Magic issue, which is the next issue, then we'll do that. And then our third issue will be the Country Fair issue that'll come out in September. So the first one right now is Historic Gardens. Second one, Midsummer Magic. Third one, Country Fair. So that's what's on deck, and we're coming up. We're brainstorming the holiday. Well, I don't want to say holiday. It's the December issue after that. But if you have content for any of those, just get going on it and send it in when you can. We will use everybody's stuff. It'll just be a question of what issue if it fits better in one of the upcoming issues. But go ahead and send your content. Work on your content. Don't rush yourself unduly. We can use your stuff in the next issue. Not everything has to be 100% matched to the theme of the issue. So. But do send stuff in and be working on projects that inspire you too. Colleen, great to see you. If I sense, I hope you. Absolutely, Colleen. I'll double check the spelling. I definitely will. I promise. It's just like I got an article the other day that was absolutely beautiful that had like the word very casual through like THRU as opposed to through, and it really was in the voice and character of the text. And so I liked it. It fit and it showed personality. So I wouldn't change stuff like that, but I will spell check you for sure. And absolutely, you should, Colleen. That'd be great. Goretti. Yeah, it is a good issue, isn't it? I'm really happy and encouraged by that issue. It's the best one in a while, I think. Cindy, have a good day to you too. I will see you all on Friday. If you need me, know where to find me. ribboncandyhooking@gmail.com. I will see you all soon. And don't forget about Muka. Today, Eastern Standard Time, 4 to 6, and Sunday, 6 to 8. That free pattern comes as a download for everybody who signed up for the Muka. So that'll be something fun and big to work on when